When you look back at all the massive regeneration and master plan projects we've worked on, you quickly realize that every single project teaches you something new. It's never a straight line. So to answer that question, our process today is entirely built on those real-world lessons. We've basically taken everything we learned along the way and used it to completely reshape our workflow just to make sure we're delivering the absolute best value to our partners. The first and perhaps biggest lesson is that visualization is never just a post-production step. In our early days, we sometimes received a final design and were simply asked to make it look real. But we quickly realized that if the visualization team isn't involved during the initial design phases, critical mistakes in scale, connectivity, landscape, and environmental context get missed until it's too late. And that is exactly why we shifted our model. Now, our workflow strictly starts with early strategic alignment, sitting down with stakeholders to thoroughly map out the narrative before a single 3D element is built. Another major lesson we learned is that proper ongoing communication across all channels is absolutely critical. On complex multi-year developments, if there is a gap in communication between the design teams, architects, and the visualization experts, the project's core purpose can easily get lost in translation. We learned that sending static updates back and forth isn't enough. So, that's why we built a workflow structured around continuous feedback loops. By maintaining open, transparent communication at every milestone, we ensure that every design iteration stays completely true to the client's end vision and expectations, eliminating cost and confusion before they happen. Another learned was around the risk of overcomplicating early drafts. When dealing with complex developments, trying to show real textures, specific materials, or branding right from day one actually distracts the project team. It leads to endless feedback about minor aesthetic details rather than focusing on the core structure and layout. To solve this, we introduced our strict clay version phase. By stripping away all colors and names and focusing purely on 3D massing and exact structural heights, we integrate GIS data, master plan data, and Google data into our system. We thoroughly verify all of this information together to ensure absolute accuracy, allowing developers to lock in the spatial layout with 100% clarity before we ever touch the final details. Finally, we learned that a stunning render means nothing if it doesn't serve the community's purpose. A project can look architecturally perfect, but if it doesn't accurately capture human mobility, public spaces, or how transport actually connects through the space, it won't get past the planning committee. We need to visually demonstrate how the environment transforms daily life and shapes the overall human experience, ensuring the development truly enhances how people live, work, and interact within the space. That is why our final production phase now places massive weight on environmental context and a dedicated purpose check. We ensure the visual model highly accurate tool for long-term execution.